try to keep this one short. I have a lot of work ahead of me here. This is my Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 on PCs, the 2006 release. As you can probably tell, it is super modded. It's no longer 2006. It has assets from pretty much this year plopped on top of it. Runs at a smooth 60 FPS. It actually runs higher than 60, much higher than 60. But I'm currently not running it on my SSD. I'm running it on my hard drive. So it's gonna run above 100 FPS, but yeah, I usually run it around 200 FPS and etc. It's got a lot of bells and whistles like reshade and all that stuff on it. Um, Focus for this video here is I'm just gonna in depth just explain like some of the stuff I've been manually tweaking myself because this is my personal build. Currently I have a playable whopping 150 characters. This is only 50 of them. I'm gonna switch over to my second set in a second here. But if you're familiar with my videos or you follow my videos for this game specifically, you'll immediately notice I did some swapping around. Basically, I played musical chairs with a lot of the characters. It should be a lot more tight, more compact looking. All of the characters from their respective franchises should be, close or in close proximity to one another. For instance, you have Fat Thor over there on the far left, and as you can see around him is all of his Thor MCU, um, I guess support characters is the proper term for it. And then when you look at the far back left there, you got the Fantastic Four with, of course, Silver Surfer from the second movie complementing them. Uh, Towards the far right there, you can see the Guardians of the Galaxy. As you can see, I tried my best to plug every MCU Guardian that I could find into basically that little section over there. Um, Also on the left, not the far left, but on the left, you'll immediately notice I put Sir Patrick Stewart or Professor Xavier. He's towards the center, and then I surrounded him with all of his X-Men. So you got Hugh Jackman, and you got all the MCU X-Men around him basically. Um, Moving left there or towards the center, you see we got the basic Avengers, or the original starting Avengers from the MCU with, of course, complementing Avengers 2, which are more modern or more current Avengers that were added later. That, of course, referring to Doctor Strange and Ant-Man. But for the most part, this is what I want for my first 50 characters. I think it's nice and tight, and it's very compact, and I think it's a sensible setup. So I'm going to quickly jump over to my set 2, which I run through a different EXE. It's on the same game. I just press a different EXE so that I don't have to manually drop everything. But I'm going to jump over to my set 2 here. Alright, if I did this correctly, I should be on my set 2 here. As you can see, it's 50 more MCU based characters. Everything from Wakanda Forever, dating all the way back to, I guess, the Daredevil show. Um, I think that's the oldest thing that's on here. But it's pretty nuts, man. So there you go. I kept my word. It's 100 playable MCU characters in my game. Again, this is my second EXE. I had to be very careful. I had to be very meticulous here in regards to, my choice. I'm just gonna simply just jump around at random. But as you can see here, I'm very meticulous. I'm a stickler for really the MCU based models, but also I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I have a taste for a certain type of poly count. Gotta put something in here real quick. I have to unlock some things. Alright, as you can see here, my naming convention is very in-depth, super detailed. I always put the name, or I try to put the name of the real life actor who plays the respective MCU character, and then I also put what show, movie, or just whatever the character is from. As you can see here, if the character model is from a certain game like Marvel Heroes or Future Fight, I also put that in the description too, just to avoid any confusion that I may have. As you can see here, it's quite a it's a plethora of different suits here. They're all pretty they're high poly first and foremost, but as you can see, they're very consistent, which is very important to me too. Consistency is really key. Yeah, it's pretty nuts though. Just so you get the gist, what I'm trying to do here.
Stanley.
Stan the Man, Lieber is over here. This is the creator of Marvel. Rest in peace. He's dead. He died at like around 90 or something like that. He lived a long time to see his baby, you know, I guess blow up as much as it could before he gave it to Disney, which I question. But as you can see, I got Stan Lee in here. This model is beautiful too. It's so detailed. This one's detailed too. This is Amazing Spider-Man 2 model. And this one's from Ultimate Alliance too. They're slightly, you can actually see they're slightly different, but the model is so on point in regards to looking like Stan the Man. It's pretty nuts, man. And he has 6 costumes. As you can see here, I even have his PSP, all 4 of his PSP costumes in here too, which is pretty nuts. Yeah, but Stanley, rest in peace. You will be missed. And no, I do not intend to ever take him out of my game. He will always be playable at some point. Uh, Trying to think what else is going on here. This is only my second set too. When I get to my third set, it's gonna freak you out. It's a pretty crazy third set, but it makes sense too. Okay, things that are outstanding specifically about my build is probably the boosters, packages, talents, power styles, all of the personal or the manual edits I had to make to each of these characters individually. It's pretty nuts.
MCU Spider-Man.
I guess for entertainment purposes, I should showcase some of these changes that I'm talking about. So here's Tom Holland or the MCU Spider-Man. It's a booster slash character that was released on MarvelMods.com. As you can see here, he's heavily modified. I even got my complex crazy naming convention on the character. But as you can see, I have pretty much every modern or every newer released suit for the character. I even have his civilian attire there, which is pretty nuts. This is probably most underrated suit, I think, in my opinion. This is his janky homemade suit that he made. Yeah, it's pretty nuts, man. I think the kicker here, what makes this pretty awesome, is these aren't just one skin per, or rather, these aren't restricted to one skin per skin that I'm showing you here. These skins actually change and modify in game. That of course, um, relating to what power you choose to do. So for instance, if you power it up with this suit, he'll actually grow spider legs out of his back. He'll turn into it's the same suit, but he'll grow the golden magical apparatus that Doctor Strange gave him in the movie on his arm, and he'll grow spider legs, and it'll be the same black and gold suit. This version, this is from Far From Home. So this version turns into the Night Monkey. If you don't know what the Night Monkey is, it's like Noir Spider-Man if he was in the MCU universe. So just think that Spider-Man pitch black and more like a tactical suit. And also he turns into the Iron Spider, of course, the Stark armor. This version, I don't think he turns into anything else. This one, I think he can put his suit on in game for a power up. This one just puts his mask on. Aside from putting his mask on, he has a power up that puts on the Stark armor too. This one puts on the Stark armor. He jumps back and forth from the normal Stark armor with the legs to the Stark armor without the legs, and he can also change it to the black armor. But the kicker here for this first suit is he can't get the legs. I'm pretty sure one of these, I want to say this one turns into the black costume with the legs and the golden arm, and he also changes into the hybrid suit from the No Way Home movie. That's the suit with the giant gold spider and the basically looks like the Stark armor with the golden spider. But it's pretty nuts, man. It's very complex. Like all the work I've done. My Spider-Man can stick to walls. I showcased this in a previous video, but he can stick to and crawl on walls. I heavily modified that ability too, so that it is bug free. Um, I modified his web slinging and his power style too. So if he's not by a building, he won't web sling. He needs like a structure to web sling off of. It's very immersive. Just a personal tweak. I probably should showcase that physically so you can get it. Any spider character you see here, for instance, there's Raimi Universe or Tobey Maguire. He um he has the same abilities. I actually went through and manually added the ability to stick to walls to the Raimi. And then the web, I also did that to the web too. The web can stick to walls like the same as Holland there. So pretty much any spider character. If you look to the far right, you see Carnage from Venom 2 or the second Venom movie. Carnage can stick to walls too, just like the my other spider characters. Which talking a lot, but I gotta jump over to my third set. Again, I have 150 playable characters. This is my second set of 50, so you've only seen 100 of my characters, and I still have to jump over and explain the method to my madness for the set 3. I probably should showcase I feel like I should showcase the abilities I'm talking about so that you get it, but I'd rather just showcase it in set 3 because the spider abilities that I'm harping on here are actually they're tacked on to a character in the third set too. So I'm just gonna jump over here. Okay, if I done this properly, I should be on my set 3 here. I'm gonna put in a code ahead of time here to basically unlock like the suits or whatever, so I don't have to do it later. All right, for my set 3, like I said before, it should be kind of jarring to you, but it's Marvel vs. Capcom. I grew up on fighting games. I love fighting games, and Marvel vs. Capcom was my favorite fighting game. And then when I found out that you can put the roster from the Marvel vs. Capcom games in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I jumped at that opportunity. And then on the far right of the roster there, you can see characters from I think it's called Fight for the Grid, but it was like a Power Rangers game that was pretty much Marvel vs. Capcom with Power Rangers in it, and I just plugged them over there because it just makes sense to me. Fun fact: Marvel actually has published. They have the branding rights too, and they published and released comic books for Power Rangers. So it's not out of the questions for them to question for them to share the universe. And also in Fight for the Grid, Chun-Li and Ryu are in Fight for the Grid. They're also NBC characters. If you don't know, if you're not familiar with these things, it's just little bits of information I'm giving you to explain a method to my madness here. This is my full setup, man. It's just all NBC characters, including Deadpool there in the center. Which actually, this was kind of tricky because I was tempted to put a lot of these characters in my MCU sets, like for instance, see the green triangle here? I'm moving it. See the location of it? It's right over her. But She-Hulk, I was tempted to put She-Hulk in my MCU set only because she has a mannequin from the show, and she has she has models from the TV show, and they're high poly. Aside from that, Deadpool also, which I can just showcase.
Deadpool.
But Deadpool, as you can see here, this is like a future fight. I want to say future fight. This is a little more detailed than future fight. Yeah, it's future fight. So it's a future fight model, but as you can see, I even have it named here. But I have a movie version of the model too, which is Ryan Reynolds, and it's pretty high poly. It's very detailed. I could have just simply put him in my MCU section because I had I don't know if you guys caught it, but in my MCU set 2 or my second set of 50, I had Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and she's his basically his sidekick. So yeah, this is my third set of 50. I have 150 playable characters, and it is so insane and fun to play with them. I'm not sure if I'm repeating myself here, but on the far right there, towards the bottom, you can see Miles Morales. and there's Gwen Stacy. First and foremost, I needed Spider-Man in this roster, and he's the only thing I could think of because it's kind of a toss-up. It's kind of tricky.
Miles Morales.
I'm not sure if Into the Spider-Verse is MCU, only because the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it consists of real life characters, and they're characters that can meet each other in their universe. Um, with specifically with Into the Spider-Verse, it's a CG movie, so it's more on the lines of a cartoon, in my opinion. So it was kind of tricky. It was actually hard for me to decide if I wanted to put Miles in the MCU set or if I wanted to put him in my NBC set because he fits better with the 3D modelish, cartoonish looking characters. But as you can see, ultimately I chose to put Miles here with the Marvel vs. Capcom characters. As you can see here, same old detail naming convention. Models are just ripped from everywhere, man, and they're super detailed, crazy looking models, man. It's like this game is so nuts, dude. Freaking PS5. I know I have an alt in here somewhere. So there's an alt costume. Just nuts, man. This is insane. This is insane. But yeah, this is my Marvel vs. Capcom roster here. It's not just restricted to the cartoony or the rather the CG models that you're seeing here. A lot of my characters do have their MCU. Trying to see what's the best example.
Jean Grey.
A lot of these characters do have their MCU counterparts, as you can see here. They're named. I have Sophie Turner and Famke Janssen and what else? I know there's a third one. No, there's different versions of the X-Men movie Jean, the original X-Men, the OG Jean. But well, I could just show them. So there's Sophie Turner, as you see there's Famke, and then freaking she has different movie versions. She has versions where her hair is cut, she's wearing different clothes. It's pretty nuts, man. This is insane. But yeah, that's my third set. So as you can see, I kept my word. I just showcased 150 playable characters. If I ever do a video, covering every costume, because every character has 6 playable costumes, and they're modern costumes per character. Dude, it's gonna take me hours to do something like that. It's just this is way too many characters in my opinion. Um, wait, I'm talking like I'm gonna close the video here, but I did promise in the previous set that I was gonna showcase. What was I gonna showcase? Spider, my Spider character. A better character to showcase is I think Miles actually.
Miles Morales.
Just for other modders out there, I know there's other people with this character in their roster. I think this would be like a clearer example. Oops. Just to keep my word that I did the proper modification to all my spider characters here. I'm gonna pick this one as my favorite suit.
Every generation needs heroes.
So it'd be more clear. It'd be simpler for me to explain. So for web slinging, as you can see here, you can freely web sling, but you can only web sling between buildings. I went and modified the power style and the talent style so that he does not web sling if he doesn't have a building to cling to. For example, see this giant open space, no buildings out there. I'm actually trying to web sling. As you can see here, if you go out into an open space and you try to web sling, he does nothing. The default game, it allows you to web sling freely. It's like you're web slinging on thin air. It's pretty, to me it's insane. That's an immersion modification I made to the character's package, talent style and power style. But as you can see here, if as long as you're facing buildings, you can freely web sling. Just don't try to web sling, into nothing. Oh, that was awesome. Can I do that again? Nope. That's something I'm gonna showcase again, or rather showcase here too. I also have the ability to climb walls. So as you can see here, oh, I messed it up. Sorry, I tapped jump. So as you can see here, as long as you're on the second floor. Oh, what happened? I'm sorry, I'm not used to. I'm still getting used to the controls or whatever. But as you can see here, as long as you're on the second floor, if you web sling into a wall from a second story or second floor, when you run into or land on a wall, you'll be able to climb it. So I still have the climbing ability. I just have it extremely limited and heavily tweaked so that it's bug free. So I can do things like double jump into the wall without sticking to it by mistake, and I can fight, close to walls without it glitching out or anything. Just a personal modification I made. So you got the immersive web slinging mod, and you also have the ability to stick to walls, which is pretty insane. Yeah, I just wanted to show that off. And every spider character in my rosters has these abilities. So that means what is it? Spider Gwen, Toby Maguire, Tom Holland, um, Andrew Garfield, Miles Morales, Venom, Carnage. All of my spider characters have these same abilities to stick to walls, and also they have the immersive web slinging modification. Just wanted to showcase that. I'm not gonna drag the video out any longer. I'm not gonna drag the video out any longer, but that was all three of my sets. It's 150 playable characters. In the future, I think I said this already. In the future, if I decide to do a showcase of every costume for all of these characters, you gotta understand that's 150. Well, 150 times six. Gee, that's 600, 800. That's like nine. Is it 900? I think it's 900. I want to have a stupid moment here, but I'm pretty sure it's 900. 150 times 6. That's 100 times 6, so that's 600. 50 times 6, that's 300. 300 plus 600, so that's 900. So I'll be showing you 900 different costumes. That's crazy. That's gonna take me hours. It's gonna be hours of video. I might do that in the future. I might try to naturally do it by doing like a playthrough video. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But yeah, that's my 150 characters. I might go back and tweak the organization for the characters later. I might even add in more characters via another roster, which I'm working on currently. Hint hint, it's a secret. I have a fourth set of 50 that I'm working on personally. Um I also found a weird modification that changes this was a stage select screen. I found a modification that changes the stage select screen back to the old school version, where they're all like tightly compiled together, and all 50 characters are selectable on it. I've already tested it out. Think about switching back to that. I actually like the aesthetic or the style of the old school CSS screen, so I might actually revert back to that. To caveat that, I also kept my word this is like a few videos ago in regards to this, but I also added the EXG 1.2 or the expansion mod, which basically adds the ability to go to like the X mansion and just like a plethora of goodies that it adds on to the game. Some pretty nutty stuff. I have that in here now, and yeah, I'm just dragging the video out, man. That's 150 characters, as promised. God bless.